Merry meet and welcome to Lux Dragon Queen Magic. I'm Taylor and today is Witchy Wednesday. So for today I'm going to actually be completing a collective tea reading with a tea recipe that you can find down below. But ultimately I was working with Spirit and I wanted something that could be very supportive during this time for those of us who are needing to open up our hearts, who are really needing to have a literal heart-to-heart moment with someone or maybe with ourselves. And so that's what I'm hoping this recipe can support those in doing. So this is an herbal tea recipe as well. So I definitely chose this just based off of what I had available to me and what really stood out. So I am using the Solstice Tea Traders Ultimate Tea Sampler. So I did put the link down below too if you want to recreate this or if these teas look at it or you want to see what else they have available. But before I go into each of these, I just wanted to go ahead and add that you could also, if you don't have very many tea options available to you, anything with bergamot will be really supportive because bergamot has a certain connection to Venus as well as love and insight. So nice, easy, I think Earl Grey has bergamot with it, so that might be a nice, easy, oh my goodness, sorry, I just London fog. For some reason, my mind was like, you need to say this. So I was going to say, it's a nice, easy way for you to adjust to still get the intentions that you set out, even if you aren't able to make this exact tea recipe, or if you don't like herbal tea. So London fog is an Earl Grey tea latte, I believe. So that maybe is something that sounds really good to people who maybe to try that and to treat yourself to it, especially if you've been feeling like you're in a fog. Anyways, take that as it resonates. That's why we're here. We're here to connect and just be an open channel. And then the other thing I wanted to share is green tea. I actually love green tea because the heart chakra is green. It is associated with the color green. And so if you also don't like black teas or you're and you want to stay away from the herbal tea, you may find yourself having a nice cup of green tea, and that ultimately will still help soothe your heart chakra. So just definitely take the recipe how it resonates. I just encourage you more so to play around with your magical intentions and how you work with the food in your kitchen. That being said, as you see from the recipe below, I only use half a teaspoon each. Part of that has to deal with my tiny cup. The other part of it is because I'm using this for a tea reading, so you typically use less tea when that's the case, because there's typically less water involved as well when you're brewing it. So that's really what we're seeing here. So definitely adjust the proportions based off what you're using them for. With that being said, we do have, let me actually start with this one. This is the primary basis and why I decided to make it herbal is because this is the Hibiscus Blue Eyes. And so it has apple, hibiscus, rose hip shells, orange peel, cornflower petals, and rhubarb flavoring. All of these are associated with love. Some of them are associated with sex. And then there's also self-love and healing in here. So that really just made it seem like a very good wholesome moment that is good for any heart sharing moment, whether it's for yourself with a loved one or just like a family member. And then since I was going to be keeping it herbal, I wanted to go ahead and see what else we had as options. And so we had red fruit cocktail. This definitely smells so fruity. So we're going to see how this affects the flavor. But again, we have that hibiscus coming in. We have elderberry, which personally I associate with like older wisdom. And then we have currant, black currant. So take this as you will, but for my purposes, I'm seeing it being used as seeing the light and dark of the situations. And then we have red fruit jelly. Oh, cream. What? Sorry, I can't have dairy, so that's interesting. And we're gonna have fun with that. Strawberry, kiwi, and then we have blackcurrant flavoring in addition. So these, this just really supports and gives a little bit more. It kind of gives a little bit more insight, a little bit more daring to it, and as well as sweetness. So it really encourages the opening up and being truthful and honest from a very passionate state. And then we do have, this is something that, because the rest, I guess I could show you what they look like. So it's very dried fruit based. for these two. So with that, see, these probably will open up. We'll see that happening, but I did still want something to give it a little bit more base. I also was hoping it would give it a little bit red color to the drink and just bring that sense of passion, that like very much like lovey drink feeling to it. And so that is actually what we get here from this. That's what you can see those little leaves are. And so that hopefully will help us get a little bit more patterns, and similar to like how coffee grinds can look for some tea readings. And these also are very earthy, and so I wanted it to be a grounding conversation as well. So that is going to be the 3 teas that we have associated here in this reading. Again, the main reason why I'm sharing this is more for you to explore tea magic, tea readings. Well, you can explore tea readings as you would like, but ultimately the tea magic of just making a good cup and sharing a good conversation with people, and allowing certain insights to come through. So if you aren't a tea drinker, perfectly fine. You can typically take a look at the different coffee beans and what are associated with them, and that might speak to you as well. So I definitely just encourage you to just explore yourself, get out there. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this cup of tea, and I will see you real soon to talk about the reading. Merry meet again. Let's go ahead and take a look into our collective tea reading. So I didn't leave much water at the very end because lately with my tea readings, I've noticed that look at that. What am I trying to say? I'm getting distracted by what I'm seeing. Let me look away. I didn't move much water, so I think that's why we're seeing a lot more clumpage around here, especially too. Dried fruits can be a little bit heavier, so just keep that in mind when you're doing your tea readings. I also wasn't sure if we would work more in the negative space or not within this reading, so yeah, I just encourage you, if you take a step further than just having a good magical drink, and if you're doing the reading, that you are just open and mindful to maybe how the tea has interacted with each other and how you are, but just accept everything openly and gracefully. So sometimes your entire cup may come out on a plate. That's what I was trying to say, is I drank more water because lately that's what had been happening. And then as we see, the water I left in here still literally is in here, which tells me a couple of different things. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and just get started with the reading. So, I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely seeing an old man, like Mr. Monopoly style. It's that very standard, has a top hat, bushy mustache, and maybe a beard, and bushy eyebrows. This is coming up differently. The face actually is changing, so what I'm hearing is that this is going to be represented by a few different things. I'm getting the sense of a monster behind one of the faces, so something that's coming up within the collective is, something coming up within the collective is that there is essentially a disconnect within the divine masculine, to where things are appearing a lot more toxic than they are. People are feeling a little bit more aggressive and attacked, and that's really what we're seeing. The other thing that is coming through, though, is that it's the other side too of the olden face, is the wise leader, the kind. I'm getting like Santa Fe vibes, where it's like the kind of person who is very gentle and accepts their worth, but doesn't like seek out supporting others. So it's just more quiet in how they work. I'm hearing like maybe a little bit more of a trickster. So there's definitely this sense of energy that we're seeing for the collective in our heart sharing moments. Is we're seeing a lot of illusions, a lot of tricks that we think are being played not only on our hearts, but also not only on our minds, but also on our hearts. So if you're working with this and you have a partner that you haven't really been seeing eye to eye with, that's what's coming through for everyone within the collective, is that there is this sense of illusion around the divine masculine. So I'm really seeing there's going to be that. So if you yourself are a divine masculine, you are going to be deciding which side of the mask you are, deciding how responsible you are for the collective, is what I'm picking up on, and for the like moving forward of the collective. Something too I am getting the sense of, for some who are here, is a third party situation where it's like an older gentleman is like advising, not necessarily therapy, for some it might be therapy, but I'm seeing that there is essentially a mediator, and we're seeing that mediator, since this is a collective reading, there's two sides, right? So for some of you, that mediator is doing really great. They're helping you see eye to eye with that person. And then on the other side, you have people who are being middlemen and spreading and being part of the communication breakdown rather than supporting it. So definitely a very big question around, I'm really getting like, I don't know if it looks like it necessarily to you guys, but it really looks to me that the leaves go around into a vortex towards the center. So it really seems like all of this is leading towards ultimately the divine's masculine decision and how they're going to move forward and become who they want. And then I'm being told to turn it on its head, and I am seeing, at first I thought I would see more of a flame, and I still kind of am, but I'm also seeing, I'm seeing mountains and traveling upon those mountains. So something too about this collective, about this heart-sharing moment that everyone is going through, is there is something weighing very heavily on their mind, and that's what's holding them back, is understanding where the mountain is, where the trail is, where the adventure is. Yeah, again, something to mention about for this reading is all of these little collective moments that are around here. I'm really getting that these are a lot of external thoughts, a lot of things that are just coming up. And so again, this is a collective, so it's a very big reading, trying to look into a heart-sharing moment, and a lot of people essentially have a lot on their hearts, and I'm seeing that people are talking, they're expressing it, and not everyone is necessarily receptive to it. So, and it's creating this like chaotic void within it all, but we're all being led to the same place is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I'm actually gonna leave my interpretation of the tea reading at this, but I am gonna turn the cup around a few times, and you may have certain symbols and things that stand out to you, and I would encourage you to trust your intuition for one last thing. I'm also seeing like roots in the mountain, right? So a lot of, we're really focusing on the top of the mountain. We're seeing the peaks, but there are roots, the ground that formed that mountain is more important. Okay. Back to you. But I encourage you to trust your intuition. Maybe just use this as a little exercise. See if there's an additional message within the collective that is meant just specially for you. All right. So with that, I'm also not going to be reading the plate for this one. I'm just not called to do it. Ultimately, I'm seeing that a lot of our energies, we're already very much focused as focused as we can be as a collective, and we don't need to draw more attention to scattered energies. So with that being said, I hope you saw some additional message for you. I definitely saw a few other symbols stand out. Feel free to comment below what stood out to you, and let everyone share. I just didn't want to insert any ideas upon people. So with that, I wish you all the best, and I hope you're enjoying your Witchy Wednesday. I hope this recipe resonates with you. I hope you explore your own tea magic and continue in expanding your kitchen magic. And with that, my lovelies, I will go ahead and wish you love and light. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.